How many hours have you spent learning English? Hundreds? Maybe thousands? You've studied the grammar, you've memorized the vocabulary, and yet you still feel stuck in the middle. You can understand, but you can't fully express the intelligent, funny, and interesting person you truly are. That frustrating gap between your knowledge and your ability is the intermediate plateau, and the reason you're stuck there isn't because you're not trying hard enough, it's because you're using the wrong map. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to English in Moments. I'm Elena. Today, we are throwing away the old map. This is not another lesson where you passively learn a few more words. This is a deep dive session where we will systematically install a new operating system for your English brain. We will rewire the habits that are holding you back and replace them with the mindset, the systems, and the daily practices of a truly advanced speaker. By the end of this masterclass, you will not just have information, you will have a definitive blueprint for fluency. This is the last video you will ever need on how to get from intermediate to advanced. Your final chapter in learning starts now. Let's begin. So, let's embark on this transformative journey together. You are here because you have a powerful desire to master the English language. You have already reached the intermediate level, a milestone that deserves celebration. You can understand a wide range of conversations, express yourself in various daily situations, and manage most interactions in English. Yet deep down, you feel a persistent sense of incompleteness. Perhaps your sentences feel structurally correct but lack a natural musical flow. Maybe when you listen to native speakers conversing casually, their words blur into a stream of sound, leaving you behind. Or perhaps when you sit down to write, you feel a shadow of doubt about your choice of words, your sentence structure, or your overall style. This is our starting point today, the bridge from intermediate to advanced. I want you to engage in a powerful visualization exercise with me. Close your eyes for a moment if you can. Imagine yourself 1 year from now. See yourself at a dinner party or in a business meeting, speaking English with an easy confidence. You are not just translating thoughts, you are weaving stories, sharing opinions, and making people laugh. Imagine yourself picking up an English newspaper or a complex novel and becoming completely absorbed in the content, the ideas flowing directly into your mind without the barrier of translation. Picture yourself composing an important email, your fingers flying across the keyboard as you articulate your thoughts with precision and flair. That reality, that level of effortless mastery, is the advanced stage of English, and I assure you it is absolutely attainable for you. But the secret to reaching it is not about cramming thousands of new words or memorizing obscure grammar rules. The true secret lies in building a sophisticated, personalized study plan and, most importantly, practicing in the right way with unwavering consistency. First, let's dissect the fundamental difference in the mindset of an intermediate learner versus an advanced one. An intermediate learner often operates in a study mode. They are consciously assembling language, frequently translating phrases from their native tongue and sometimes pausing awkwardly as they search for the perfect word. An advanced learner, by contrast, operates in use mode. They think directly in English. They don't just use words, they use chunks of language, phrases, collocations, and expressions that flow naturally. They have an intuitive feel for the rhythm and melody of a real conversation. Therefore, our primary goal is to transition your brain from study mode to use mode, to train it to process, think, and express complex ideas in English with seamless, effortless flow. Let's try a small comparative practice right now to make this tangible. Imagine you're at a social event and someone asks you, "Are you enjoying the party?" At an intermediate level, your answer might be, "Yes, it is good. The music is nice." This is perfectly understandable, but at an advanced level, you would add more color and depth, and you would open the door for a richer interaction. You might say, "Yes, it's a fantastic gathering. I was just admiring the decorations, and I've had some really interesting conversations. Have you had a chance to try the appetizers? I heard they're amazing." Do you perceive the shift? The advanced answer is not just longer, it's more descriptive, more interactive, and it uses more natural, engaging language. Now it is your turn to practice actively with me. I will ask you a question, and I want you to respond out loud as if you were speaking directly to me. The question is, tell me about a skill you are proud of. Don't give a simple answer like, "I can cook." Try to build a small narrative around it. Add details, connect your ideas, make it sound natural. For example, you could say, "One skill I've been developing is learning to play the guitar. It was really challenging at first, and my fingers hurt a lot, but I kept practicing. Now, being able to play a full song for my friends and see their enjoyment is an incredibly rewarding feeling." Now it is your turn. Answer the question out loud in full, detailed sentences. This type of expansive exercise is profoundly important because advanced English is not just about technical accuracy, it is about fluency, the richness of your expression, and your ability to connect with another person. The more you practice expanding your simple answers into compelling mini stories, the more rapidly you will progress to the advanced stage. Another key differentiator is listening comprehension. At the intermediate level, you can likely follow English that is spoken slowly and deliberately, like in a language learning video. However, when people speak at a natural pace, use idiomatic language, or switch between formal and informal registers, it can become a real struggle. Advanced learners, in contrast, can comfortably follow the ebb and flow of natural conversation, even when it's fast. How do we build this crucial skill? By making a daily habit of listening to authentic English material that is just outside your comfort zone. Not so easy that you're bored, but not so difficult that you feel overwhelmed. Let's try an exercise in active listening together. I will say a short, natural English sentence. Your task is to listen carefully, repeat it back, and then paraphrase what you understood. Here it is. To be honest, I was on the fence about going to the conference, but a colleague of mine twisted my arm and I'm so glad I went. Did you catch all of that? Now repeat it slowly with me. To be honest, I was on the fence about going to the conference, but a colleague of mine twisted my arm and I'm so glad I went. Very good. Now explain it in your own words. You might say something like, "The person was undecided about attending the conference, but their colleague convinced them and they ended up enjoying it." This single exercise trains your listening for speed, introduces you to common idioms like "on the fence" and "twisted my arm," and activates your speaking skills all at once. You see, advanced learning isn't about massive, overwhelming tasks. It is about the consistent application of small, smart, daily habits. Now let's address the crucial topic of vocabulary. At the intermediate level, you possess a solid vocabulary, but you may find yourself leaning on the same common words repeatedly. For instance, the word good. It was a good movie. He is a good person. That's a good idea. To elevate your English, you need to employ a wider, more nuanced range of vocabulary. Instead of good day, you could say a spectacular day or a rejuvenating day. Instead of good idea, you might say an innovative idea or a brilliant concept. Instead of good friend, you could say a loyal friend, a close confidant, or a true ally. Let's practice this together right now. I will provide a simple sentence, and your job is to make it sound more advanced by replacing the word good. Ready? The sentence is, she gave a good presentation. Now elevate it. You could say, she gave a compelling presentation, or she delivered a fascinating presentation. Now try with your own word choice. When you practice vocabulary in this manner, you make your speech more colorful, more precise, and infinitely more interesting. Advanced learners possess the skill to select the perfect word for any given situation. And now let's talk about grammar. As an intermediate learner, you have a firm grasp on the basic tenses: present, past, and future. However, you might still make occasional mistakes, or you might consciously avoid using more complex grammatical structures because they feel intimidating. Advanced learners, however, wield these complex structures with a natural and correct flair. For example, instead of saying, "If I will have time, I will call you," an advanced learner instinctively says, "If I have time, I will call you." The meaning is identical, but the second sentence is grammatically sound and natural. Let's practice with a short grammar correction exercise. I will give you a sentence containing a subtle error, and you have to fix it. Ready? The sentence is, she don't like to cook. Did you spot the mistake? Yes, it should be, she doesn't like to cook. Here's another one. I am living in this city for 5 years. What is the correction? You should say, I have been living in this city for 5 years. These small corrections make an enormous difference because accuracy is a cornerstone of advanced English. But please remember, advanced English is not merely about avoiding errors. It's about using grammar as a tool to express more sophisticated and complex ideas. For instance, instead of just saying, I like reading, you could say, I enjoy reading because it allows me to explore new worlds and understand different perspectives. Do you see how the second sentence provides more detail, depth, and reason? That is precisely what makes it sound advanced. Finally, let's talk about the bedrock of it all: confidence. Many intermediate learners possess a wealth of English knowledge, but they hesitate when it's time to speak. They are paralyzed by the fear of making a mistake or feel self-conscious about their accent. But advanced learners understand a profound truth. Confidence is not a prerequisite for speaking, it is a result of speaking. Confidence is a skill, and just like any other skill, it grows with consistent practice. You do not have to sound perfect. You simply have to be brave enough to keep speaking, to keep trying, and to view every conversation as a learning opportunity. So here is our final exercise in this introductory section. Imagine you are at a professional networking event. You want to introduce yourself confidently in advanced English. Instead of just saying, my name is Maria, I am from Spain, I am a student, try to expand it into a more engaging and professional introduction. For example, hi, my name is Maria. I'm originally from Spain, and I'm currently completing my master's degree in international business. My area of focus is sustainable marketing, and I'm really passionate about how companies can grow responsibly. I'm excited to connect with other professionals in the field today. Do you hear the powerful difference? The second version is advanced because it is detailed, confident, professional, and natural. Now it is your turn. Create your own self introduction with at least 3 detailed sentences and say it out loud. Take a moment to practice. Do not be a passive listener. Speak with me because this active participation is how you will transform yourself from an intermediate learner into an advanced speaker. Now that we have built a solid foundation and cultivated the right mindset, let's dive deep into creating a proper, structured study plan. This is the architectural blueprint that will actually take you from intermediate to advanced. A primary reason learners get stuck at the intermediate stage is a lack of structure. They study sporadically. One day they might watch a YouTube video, the next day they might read a news article, and then they might take a break for a week or two. Without consistency and a balanced approach, progress is painstakingly slow. But if you commit to and follow a structured plan, you will see improvement that is faster, more noticeable, and more confidence building. The first pillar of your study plan must always be active listening practice. Why listening first? Because listening is the gateway to understanding how English truly sounds in the real world. It trains your ears to the natural rhythms, pronunciation patterns, and intonation of the language. It is also the most effective way to learn new vocabulary and grammar in a natural context. You should listen to English every single day, even if it's only for 15 minutes. But it must be active, focused listening. That means you are not just hearing the sounds, you are engaging with them. This involves techniques like repeating, shadowing, and summarizing. Let's try a shadowing exercise together right now. I will give you a short piece of natural English, and your task is to shadow me. That means you repeat what I say almost at the same time as I am speaking, like an echo. Ready? The sentence is, "This week has been particularly demanding, but I've managed to stay on top of all my tasks." Now say it with me, trying to match my pace. Very good. Now try it again, but this time, focus entirely on matching the rhythm and melody of my voice, not just the individual words. This is how shadowing trains your mouth and brain to produce natural-sounding English. After shadowing, the second step is to summarize. Take that same sentence and explain its meaning in your own words. For example, you could say, "The person had a very busy week, but they successfully completed all their work." Do you see how this single activity combines listening, speaking, and comprehension? If you make this a daily habit, your fluency will skyrocket. The second pillar of your study plan is daily speaking practice. At the intermediate level, many learners have a high level of passive knowledge, but they haven't practiced speaking enough to make that knowledge active. That is why they remain stuck. To reach an advanced level, you must speak every single day. Even if you do not have a speaking partner, you can still practice effectively by speaking to yourself. This technique, sometimes called self-talk, is used by many advanced polyglots. For example, describe your day out loud in English as it unfolds. Explain your thoughts and decisions in English. Or practice answering common questions you might encounter in daily life. Here's an exercise for you. Imagine you are preparing for a job interview and the interviewer asks, "Can you tell me about a time you faced a challenge at work?" Instead of giving a short, simple answer like, "I had a difficult project," try to expand it using a storytelling structure. You could say, "In my previous role, I was assigned a project with a very tight deadline that seemed almost impossible. At first, I felt overwhelmed, but I broke the project down into smaller, manageable tasks, delegated responsibilities to my team, and we held daily check in meetings. As a result of this structured approach, we not only met the deadline, but also received excellent feedback on our work." This answer is longer, more descriptive, uses professional language, and demonstrates problem solving skills, all hallmarks of an advanced speaker. Now I want you to pause and create your own answer to that same question out loud. The third pillar of your study plan is active reading practice. Reading exposes you to advanced sentence structures, sophisticated vocabulary, and idiomatic expressions that you might not hear in everyday conversation. You should aim to read a variety of texts, not just language textbooks. Read articles from reputable sources like the BBC or the New York Times. Read blogs on topics that genuinely interest you. Read short stories and eventually full length novels. But the key is to read actively, not passively. Active reading means you are interacting with the text. You should underline new words and phrases, take notes on interesting sentence structures, and constantly ask yourself questions as you read, such as, "What is the author's main point here?" Or, "How does this connect to what I read before?" Let's do a reading practice exercise right now. I will read a short passage to you, and then I will ask you some comprehension questions. Here is the passage. Last night, Sarah attended a classical music concert in the city's main auditorium. The orchestra played for nearly 2 hours, and the audience was captivated by the performance. After the show concluded, she went out for a late dinner with her friends before finally returning home. Now, here are your questions. Where did Sarah go last night? How long did the orchestra perform? What did she do after the concert was over? Did you catch the answers? Yes, she went to a concert in the auditorium. The orchestra played for almost 2 hours, and she had dinner with her friends afterward. This is a simple example, but it demonstrates how active reading and comprehension work together. The fourth pillar of your study plan is consistent writing practice. Writing forces you to organize your thoughts logically and use grammar and vocabulary with precision. At the intermediate level, learners often write in short, simple sentences. At the advanced level, you should be practicing writing longer, more complex pieces such as paragraphs, essays, or even detailed journal entries. One of the simplest and most effective ways to practice is by keeping a daily journal in English. Every evening, take 10 minutes to write about your day. Do not just list what you did. Explore what you thought and how you felt. This practice will expand your expressive vocabulary and help you connect your ideas more naturally and coherently. Here is a small writing exercise for you. I want you to write 3 to 4 sentences about something you want to improve in your life. For example, I am currently working on improving my time management skills. I have noticed that I often get distracted by social media. So I am implementing a strategy where I set specific, focused work intervals. I believe this will significantly boost my productivity and reduce my stress levels. Now it is your turn. Think about something in your own life and write about it in English. The fifth and final pillar of your study plan is review and reflection. Many learners tragically forget this step. They are so focused on learning new material that they don't review what they have already learned, and as a result, they forget it. To move from intermediate to advanced, you must make reviewing a regular, non negotiable part of your routine. This means going back to your notes, practicing old vocabulary words, listening to old audio clips again, and tracking your progress. Reflection is the other side of this coin. It means actively thinking about your learning process. Ask yourself questions like, what have I mastered this week? What is still difficult for me? What should be my primary focus for next week? This metacognitive process helps you stay on track and avoid wasting precious time. Let's do a quick reflection exercise together. Close your eyes for a moment and think about your English learning over the past week. What did you do to practice? Did you listen to anything in English? Did you have a conversation or write something? Did you learn any new phrases? Now ask yourself honestly, what is one thing you could do better or more consistently next week? This kind of simple reflection is what keeps you improving, step by step, day by day. Another vital aspect of reaching an advanced level is your exposure to real life English. Many learners remain in the student zone where they only consume content created for learners. Advanced learners step into the real zone. They immerse themselves in English as it is genuinely used by native speakers. This means watching movies without subtitles, listening to podcasts made for native audiences, joining online conversations on forums like Reddit, and reading authentic texts. This kind of exposure is invaluable because it shows you how English is used naturally with all its idioms, slang, and cultural nuances. It prepares you for real-world situations in a way that no textbook ever can. Here is an exposure-based exercise for you. Choose your favorite TV show, movie, or YouTube channel in English. Watch just 5 minutes of it every single day. The first day, watch with English subtitles and pause to look up any new words or phrases. The next day, watch the same 5 minutes again, but this time without any subtitles, focusing on understanding the overall flow and meaning. Finally, on the third day, choose one or two sentences from the clip and practice repeating them exactly as you hear them, mimicking the actor's pronunciation and intonation. This one simple activity combines listening, vocabulary building, and pronunciation practice. Finally, remember that a study plan only works if it is executed with consistency. You do not need to study for hours upon hours every day. Even 30 to 45 minutes of focused, balanced practice can make a monumental difference if you do it daily. The goal is to build habits, not just to study randomly. When you follow a consistent routine, English becomes a part of your life, not just a subject you are learning. So, to summarize our journey through this section, your comprehensive study plan should include daily active listening, daily speaking practice, active reading, consistent writing, and weekly review and reflection, all supplemented by exposure to real-life English. Each of these pillars supports the others, and together, they create a powerful, balanced system. This balance is the engine that will drive you from the intermediate plateau to the heights of advanced fluency. Now that you have your blueprint, let's move forward and talk about daily life practice because one of the most powerful catalysts for moving from intermediate to advanced is connecting your English learning with your everyday routines. When you make English a part of your real life, you don't just study it, you live it. And that is precisely what advanced learners do. They no longer see English as a school subject. They see it as a tool they use to think, to communicate, to learn, and to explore the world. Let's think about your morning routine for a moment. At the intermediate level, you might know how to say simple things like, I wake up, I brush my teeth, I eat breakfast. But to move toward advanced English, you should strive to expand these simple statements, adding details, your own thoughts, and natural expressions. For example, instead of just saying, I wake up, you could narrate your experience. I usually set my alarm for 7 a.m., but today I overslept because I stayed up a bit too late reading a fascinating book. Do you hear the rich difference? The second version is more detailed. It provides a reason, it sounds natural, and it uses more advanced vocabulary. Let's practice this together, and I will guide you step by step. Say this with me. I usually wake up around 7. Good, now let's expand it. I usually wake up around 7, but today I overslept. Excellent. Now let's add the final layer of detail. I usually wake up around 7, but today I overslept because I stayed up late watching a thought-provoking documentary. Very nice. This is the process of taking a simple idea and transforming it into advanced communication by adding reasons, details, and connections. Now, let's talk about conversations that happen during your day. Imagine you meet a friend for coffee and they ask, how's your day going? At the intermediate level, you might give a short, standard reply like, it's fine, or it's good. But an advanced learner provides a richer, more engaging answer. For example, it's been a pretty hectic day so far, to be honest. I had a major deadline to meet this morning, but I managed to get it done. So now I'm feeling a sense of relief and looking forward to relaxing with this coffee. Do you notice how this answer sounds fuller, more personal, and more natural? It's your turn to practice. I will ask you the question, how's your day going? Now I want you to answer it out loud in English with at least 3 connected sentences. Don't just say, fine. Add some details about what you did, what you are doing now, or how you are feeling. This is how you stretch your English muscles and build your capacity for advanced conversation. Another area where learners often struggle is describing experiences and feelings with nuance. At the intermediate level, you might rely on basic adjectives like happy, sad, or tired. But advanced learners use a wide and varied palette of expressions. Instead of happy, you could be thrilled, delighted, ecstatic, or overjoyed. Instead of tired, you could be exhausted, drained, worn out, or fatigued. Well, instead of sad, you might be disappointed, upset, heartbroken, or melancholy, depending on the specific situation. Let's do a vocabulary practice together right now. I will give you a basic word, and you will try to replace it with a stronger, more specific word. Ready? The word is happy. Replace it with another word. Maybe you said elated. Great, or maybe joyful. Perfect. Now the word is tired. Replace it. Did you say drained? Excellent. This kind of practice will help you build a richer emotional vocabulary and sound more advanced and articulate in your daily conversations. Now let's practice describing an event in detail. Imagine you went to a birthday party yesterday. At the intermediate level, you might say, I went to a birthday party. It was good. I ate cake. But at the advanced level, you would expand that into a vivid description. Yesterday, I went to a close friend's birthday party and it was a blast. The atmosphere was so lively and festive. There were about 20 people there, and we played some hilarious games, ate some delicious food, and just laughed for hours. My favorite part was when we all gathered around to sing Happy Birthday. It felt so warm and joyful. Do you see the difference? The advanced version paints a picture for the listener, uses more descriptive details, and expresses genuine emotion. Here is your exercise now. I want you to describe your last celebration in English. It could be a birthday, a holiday, or even just a simple dinner with family. Try to make your description at least 3 to 4 sentences long and use at least one specific emotional word like exciting, peaceful, or nostalgic. Say it out loud now. Now, moving forward, let's focus on listening to natural English in daily life contexts. One of the biggest challenges for intermediate learners is understanding connected speech. This is when native speakers speak quickly and words blend together seamlessly. For example, instead of clearly enunciating I am going to, many people will say I'm gonna. Instead of did you eat yet? They might blend it to sound more like digit yet. At first, this can feel incredibly confusing, but advanced learners get used to it because they actively practice listening to real, unscripted speech. Let's practice listening and repeating. I'll give you a natural sentence and you try to repeat it with the same rhythm and flow. Ready? I'm going to grab something to eat. Do you want to come? Now repeat. Good. Did you notice how going to became gonna and want to became wanna? This is how real English sounds in everyday life, and practicing it will help you move toward advanced comprehension. Now let's do another one. Did you eat yet? When spoken quickly, it sounds like did you eat yet? Repeat it with me. Great. These small listening exercises are critically important because advanced English is not just about vocabulary and grammar. It is also about understanding and producing the natural rhythm, pronunciation, and connected speech of the language. Another incredibly powerful way to improve from intermediate to advanced is by practicing storytelling. Storytelling combines many skills at once: vocabulary, grammar, fluency, sequencing, and emotion. Advanced speakers are often excellent storytellers. So let's practice together. I'll guide you through a short story, and then I will ask you to create your own. Here is my story. Last weekend, I went hiking with a couple of friends in the nearby mountains. The weather was absolutely perfect, sunny but with a cool breeze. We walked for almost 3 hours, and the view from the summit was just breathtaking. Afterward, we found a small cafe and had lunch, and we were all so tired but also incredibly happy and refreshed. Now it is your turn. Think of a simple story from your life. Maybe a trip you took, a fun activity you did, or even just a walk in the park. Describe it in at least 3 sentences. Try to add details about what happened, how you felt, and what you saw. When you practice telling stories, you are not only improving your English skills, you are also training yourself to think in English for longer, more sustained stretches of time. That is the true sign of moving toward advanced fluency. Finally, let's add one more sophisticated layer: practicing asking insightful questions. Many intermediate learners can answer questions, but they struggle to ask them naturally and effectively. At the advanced level, asking good questions is just as important as giving good answers. For example, instead of just saying, "Where do you live?" you could say, "So, where do you live? Is it close to your workplace or do you have a long commute?" Instead of asking, "Do you like it?" you could say, "How do you feel about living there? What are some of the things you enjoy most about your neighborhood?" These extra details and follow up questions make the question sound more natural, more engaging, and more advanced. Here is your exercise. I will give you a basic question, and you will make it more advanced by adding detail or a follow up. The basic question is, "What do you do?" Now expand it. You could say, "So, what do you do for a living? Is that something you've always been passionate about?" Try your own version out loud now. This kind of practice not only helps you sound more natural, but also keeps conversations flowing, which is one of the biggest and most important signs of advanced English proficiency. Now let's shift our focus to grammar in action, because this is where many intermediate learners get stuck. You already know the main tenses: present, past, future, but sometimes you hesitate with complex structures or you avoid them altogether because they feel uncomfortable. To move from intermediate to advanced, you need to not just know these structures, but use them naturally and correctly in your daily speech and writing. Let's begin with a deep dive into conditionals. At the intermediate level, learners usually master the first conditional. If it rains, I will stay home. But advanced learners use all conditionals flexibly to express a wide range of meanings. For example, the second conditional for unreal or hypothetical situations: "If I had more free time, I would learn to play the piano." And the third conditional for past regrets or hypotheticals: "If I had known about the meeting, I would have prepared a presentation." These sentences allow you to express possibilities, regrets, and advice with much greater clarity. Let's practice together. I'll give you a situation, and you create a conditional sentence out loud. The situation is, you didn't study for the test, and you failed. Using the third conditional, you could say, "If I had studied for the test, I would have passed it." Now it's your turn. Repeat that sentence and then make your own example about a different past situation. For example, not bringing an umbrella and getting wet. Very good. This kind of active practice makes conditionals feel natural instead of like a difficult grammar rule. Now, let's talk about relative clauses. These are essential for making your sentences longer, more descriptive, and more advanced. For example, instead of saying, "I met a man," "He is a doctor," you can create a smoother, more connected sentence: "I met a man who is a doctor." Instead of, "I bought a book." "It was very interesting," you can say. "I bought a book that was very interesting." These small changes make your English sound less robotic and more sophisticated. Try this exercise with me. Combine these two simple sentences. She lives in a beautiful house. The house overlooks the ocean. Did you say she lives in a beautiful house that overlooks the ocean? Perfect. That's how advanced grammar makes your ideas flow naturally. Another important structure for advanced learners is reported speech. At the intermediate level, learners often just repeat the exact words someone said. She said, "I am tired." But at the advanced level, you transform it naturally into reported speech. She said that she was tired, or He told me he had already finished the project. This skill is extremely common in everyday conversations, in the news, and in storytelling. Let's practice quickly. The direct speech is, I will call you tomorrow. She promised. The reported speech would be, she promised that she would call me the next day. Try it out loud now, paying attention to the change in the verb and the time word. Excellent. Now let's move to fluency drills. These are exercises specifically designed to push you to think and speak faster without stopping to translate in your head. One of the most effective drills is the 1-minute talk. You choose any topic, set a timer for 1 minute, and speak nonstop about that topic. At first, it will feel challenging, but with practice, you will train your brain to stop translating and start thinking directly in English. Let's try a mini version right now. Your topic is my favorite season of the year. I want you to start speaking out loud and don't stop until you have expressed a complete thought. For example, my favorite season is definitely autumn. I love the cool, crisp air after the summer heat, and the colors of the leaves are just spectacular. It's the perfect weather for hiking and drinking hot chocolate. It just makes me feel cozy and happy. Now you try with your own favorite season. Keep talking even if you make a few mistakes. Another fantastic fluency drill is expanding sentences step by step. You start with a very short, simple sentence, and then you gradually add more detail with each repetition. For example, I went to the store. Let's expand it. I went to the grocery store yesterday. Let's expand it again. I went to the grocery store yesterday to buy some fresh vegetables. Let's expand it one more time. I went to the grocery store yesterday to buy some fresh vegetables because I wanted to cook a healthy dinner for my family. Do you see how the sentence grows naturally and becomes more complex? This is how advanced learners build longer, more detailed sentences without hesitation. Let's practice. Your starting sentence is, I watched a movie. Now expand it once. I watched a movie last night. Expand it again. I watched a movie last night with my best friend. And expand it one more time. I watched an incredible movie last night with my best friend. And we both really enjoyed it because the story was so unpredictable and exciting. Great work. The more you do this, the easier and more automatic it becomes. Another crucial step toward advanced English is mastering connectors, words like however, although, meanwhile, in addition, furthermore, and as a result. These words help you connect your ideas smoothly and make you sound more logical and professional. For example, I wanted to go for a run. However, it started to rain heavily, so I decided to stay home. Or, I was feeling quite tired. Nevertheless, I was determined to finish my work before the deadline. Using these connectors demonstrates that you can build complex, logical arguments, not just state simple, disconnected facts. Here's your connector exercise. I will give you 2 simple sentences and you will connect them with an appropriate connector. Sentence 1. I was very hungry. Sentence 2. I had not eaten lunch. You could say, I was very hungry because I had not eaten lunch. Or, I was hungry as I had skipped lunch earlier. Or, although I was hungry, I decided to wait for dinner instead of having a snack. Now make your own version out loud. Perfect. Now let's bring all of this grammar and fluency practice together with a real-life conversation scenario. Imagine you are meeting a colleague after a long day at work. I will play both roles to demonstrate, and then you can repeat the conversation with your own answers. Colleague, hey, how was your day? You look exhausted. You, it was pretty intense to be honest, but I managed to finish that big report on time. Colleague, oh, that's great to hear. Do you have any plans for the evening or are you just going to crash? You, I was thinking of going to the gym. Although I'm a bit drained, I find that a workout actually helps me de stress. Colleague, that's a great idea. I might just order some takeout and relax with a movie instead. Now it's your turn. Replay this conversation in your mind, but use your own words and experiences. Use at least one connector, expand your sentences, and make it sound as natural as possible. Finally, let's talk about mindset. Because the truth is, grammar and vocabulary will only take you so far. What really pushes you from the intermediate stage to the advanced stage is your mindset, your confidence, and your attitude toward practice. You need to accept and even embrace the fact that making mistakes is an essential part of the learning journey. Even advanced speakers and native speakers make mistakes sometimes. The difference is they keep speaking without fear. They don't let a small error derail the entire conversation. So, here is a small mindset exercise. I want you to say this sentence out loud with me with power and belief. Mistakes are proof that I am trying. Say it again. Mistakes are proof that I am trying. And one more time. Mistakes are proof that I am trying, and every single conversation makes me stronger. When you truly believe this, your learning becomes faster, more joyful, and infinitely more effective. Now let's go deeper into the art of advanced listening practice because listening is the true foundation of real fluency. If you cannot understand natural spoken English with ease, it becomes incredibly difficult to respond with confidence and intelligence. At the intermediate stage, you can understand when people speak slowly and clearly, as if they are talking to a learner. But advanced English proficiency means you can follow natural conversations, TV shows, podcasts, and fast speech without feeling lost or overwhelmed. One of the primary challenges is what we call connected speech. Native speakers often link words together, reduce sounds, or even omit some sounds entirely to speak more efficiently. For example, what are you going to do becomes what you're going to do. Or the phrase, I don't know, often becomes the single sound, I don't know. At first, these reductions can sound like a completely different language, but advanced learners train their ears to recognize these common patterns. Let's do a practice together right now. I will say a natural, connected sentence and you repeat it exactly as you hear it, not as it is written. Ready? What you gonna do this weekend? Now you repeat it. Did you hear how what are you going to was compressed into what you gonna? Good. Now let's try another one. I don't know if I can make it to the party tonight. Repeat that with me now. Very nice. This type of listening and repetition exercise will calibrate your ears to the sound of fast, natural English. Another crucial step is to practice listening for keywords instead of trying to understand every single word. Intermediate learners often get stuck and frustrated because they try to catch and translate every individual word. When they miss one, they lose the entire thread of the conversation. Advanced listeners, however, focus their attention on the most important words in a sentence, usually the nouns, main verbs, adjectives, and adverbs, to quickly grasp the core meaning. For example, if someone says a long sentence like, so basically, right after I left work, I had to rush over to the supermarket because we were completely out of milk and bread for breakfast. And then, to make matters worse, I realized I had left my wallet at home on the kitchen counter. You do not need every single word. The keywords are after work, rush, supermarket, no milk and bread, and left wallet at home. From these keywords, you understand the entire situation perfectly. Let's practice. Here's a sentence for you. Yesterday afternoon, I was late for my dentist appointment because the bus broke down unexpectedly on the highway, so I had to walk for nearly 20 minutes in the rain. The keywords are yesterday, late for appointment, bus broke down, and walked in the rain. Did you get that? Excellent. Now try to listen to the sentence one more time and pick out just the keywords yourself. Another powerful listening method is what I call shadowing with emotion. We have discussed shadowing, which means repeating immediately after you hear something. But when you consciously add the speaker's emotion, you train not only your pronunciation, but also your tone, your rhythm, and your natural expression. For example, if the speaker sounds excited, you copy their excited tone. If they sound tired or bored, you copy that tired tone. This makes your English sound much more advanced because you are not just copying words, you are copying the feeling and the intention behind them. Let's try this with a short dialogue. I want you to shadow it with the same emotions that I use. Speaker A in an excited, happy tone. Guess what? I finally passed my driving test. I can't believe it. Speaker B in a happy and supportive tone. Really? That's absolutely amazing. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Speaker A in a relieved tone. Thank you so much. I was so nervous before I started, but it all worked out in the end. Now I want you to shadow this conversation with me, really trying to mimic the same emotions. Excellent. This kind of practice makes your English come alive. It makes it human, not robotic. Let's also focus on a skill called predictive listening, which means actively guessing what the speaker is going to say next. This is something that advanced listeners do automatically and unconsciously. For example, if someone says, I went to the supermarket yesterday and I bought some bread, milk, and you already expect them to say another food item like eggs or cheese. This skill helps you to follow conversations more easily, even if you miss a word here and there. Here is an exercise. I will start a sentence and you try to predict the next logical word. I was so tired last night that I went to bed. Did you predict early? Yes, that is the most natural word. Let's try another one. The weather was so hot today that I needed to drink a lot of water. Right. Perfect. Practicing predictive listening trains your brain to be an active participant in the listening process, which is exactly what advanced learners do. Now let's combine listening with speaking in a practical multi-step drill. I will describe a situation, and you will first repeat it and then explain it in your own words. Here is the situation. This morning, I completely overslept because my alarm didn't go off, so I had to rush to get ready, and I almost missed my train to work. First, repeat that sentence after me. Good. Now explain the situation in your own words. Maybe you said something like, the person woke up late because their alarm failed, and as a result, they were in a hurry and nearly missed their train. Excellent. This process builds both your comprehension and your fluency at the same time. Another advanced practice is to deliberately listen to different accents. At the intermediate level, you might only be comfortable understanding one or two accents, maybe American or British. But at the advanced level, you should be comfortable with a variety of accents from all around the world. English is spoken in Australia, Canada, India, South Africa, Ireland, and many other places. The pronunciation of words may change, but the more you expose your ears to this variety, the easier it becomes to understand anyone. Here is a simple exercise you can do on your own after this lesson. Pick a short video or podcast in an accent that is new to you, maybe an Australian news report or a Scottish comedian, and just listen for 5 minutes. Do not worry if you don't understand everything. Your only goal is to get used to the rhythm and the sounds. Then try to repeat one or two sentences out loud. Over time, this exposure will make you a much more flexible, adaptable, and advanced listener. Now, let's practice with daily life conversations where strong listening skills play a huge role. Imagine you are ordering food at a busy cafe and the barista speaks quickly. Hi there. What can I get started for you today? At the intermediate level, you might only catch the word order, and you might feel a moment of panic. But at the advanced level, you recognize the entire common phrase and can answer naturally and confidently. Hi, I'll have a large latte with oat milk, please. Here is your turn. I will play the role of the barista. Hi there. What can I get started for you today? Now you answer in a full, confident sentence. Great. That is exactly how you train for real conversations. Let's do one more. Imagine you are at a train station and someone asks you quickly, "Excuse me, do you know if this train goes to Central Station? Did you catch it?" Repeat it with me. Excuse me, do you know if this train goes to Central Station? Now, answer as if you know the answer. Yes, it does. It's the next stop. Or if you are not sure, I'm sorry, I'm not sure about that. You might want to check the board. These small practice moments prepare you for the reality of real life. The last part of this section is about building active daily listening habits. Do not wait for formal study sessions. Make English listening a part of the fabric of your day. Listen to music in English while you walk. Play an English podcast while you cook dinner. Watch a short news clip in English before you go to bed. This way, English surrounds you and your brain gets used to it naturally in the same way that children learn their first language. Now let's shift our focus to advanced speaking drills because speaking is where fluency is truly forged. You might have all the knowledge, but without practice, your brain can freeze when it's time to speak. These drills train your mind and mouth to work together seamlessly. The foundational drill is to practice thinking directly in English. Stop the habit of translating from your native language in your head. Start with your immediate environment. Look around the room and instead of just naming objects, describe them. Think, that lampshade is a warm yellow color. The light it casts is very soft. My laptop is open and the screen is bright. This internal monologue builds the mental pathways for spontaneous speech. The second drill is daily self-talk. This is your private practice space. When you're making breakfast, narrate the process. First, I'm going to crack 2 eggs into this bowl. Next, I'll whisk them with a fork and add a splash of milk. This might feel strange at first, but it is an incredibly powerful tool for making speech automatic. Here's an exercise for you now. Describe step by step how you got ready today. Say it out loud. For example, first, I chose my clothes for the day. Then I took a quick shower. After that, I had breakfast. Perfect. The third drill is role playing. Prepare yourself for real world situations by acting them out. Let's role play making a complaint politely. Imagine your internet isn't working. You call customer service. You could say, "Hello, I'm calling because my internet service has been down for the last hour. I've already tried restarting my router, but it didn't solve the issue. Could you please check if there's an outage in my area?" Now it's your turn. Imagine you're at a restaurant and your food is cold. What would you say to the waiter? Practice it out loud. This prepares you to handle real situations calmly and correctly. Another drill to build speed is the quick response game. The goal is to answer any question instantly without pausing to find the perfect words. Let's try it. I'll ask you a question, and you must start speaking immediately. What is the best thing about your city? Respond now. What is something you learned recently? Answer quickly. What is your favorite season and why? Go! This trains you to bypass the mental filter that causes hesitation. Now let's work on connecting your sentences smoothly when you speak. Advanced speakers don't just use simple sentences, they link their ideas. Practice using conjunctions like because, so, and, but, as well as more advanced connectors. Let's practice. Take these two ideas. I am tired. I have a lot of work to do. Now connect them. You could say, I am tired, but I still have a lot of work to do. Or, even though I'm tired, I have to finish my work. Now make your own connected sentence out loud. Another crucial drill is expanding your answers. Never give a one-word answer. If someone asks, "Did you have a good day?" Don't just say yes. Expand it. Yes, it was actually very productive. I managed to finish a big project I'd been working on, so I'm feeling quite accomplished. Here's a practice question for you. Do you like to cook? Don't just say yes or no. Expand your answer with a reason or an example. Finally, pay close attention to your intonation and rhythm. Record yourself speaking and listen back. Do you sound flat? Practice saying a sentence like, "I had a wonderful time at the party," with energy, letting your voice rise and fall naturally. These drills, when practiced consistently, will transform your speaking from hesitant and fragmented to confident and fluent. Now let's focus on the vocabulary that will make you sound truly advanced. It's not just about knowing more words, it's about using the right word in the right context. Advanced vocabulary is about nuance, precision, and naturalness. Let's start with moving beyond basic words by using more descriptive synonyms. We talked about replacing good or nice. Let's take another common word, important. Instead of always saying important, you can be more specific. Is it crucial, essential, vital, or significant? Each one has a slightly different shade of meaning. Here's your exercise. I'll give you a sentence with the word important, and you replace it with a more powerful alternative. The sentence is, "It is important to get enough sleep." You could change it to, "Next up are idioms and phrasal verbs, which are hallmarks of a natural advanced speaker." At the intermediate level, learners often avoid them. Let's embrace them. For example, instead of saying, "I understand the situation now," you could use the idiom, "I see the big picture now." Instead of, "Let's start working on this project," you could say, "Let's get the ball rolling on this project." Let's practice. Imagine you have to make a difficult decision. Instead of saying, I have to make a choice, you could use the idiom, I have to bite the bullet. Try saying that out loud. Now for phrasal verbs. Instead of saying, I will investigate the problem, you could say, I will look into the problem. Instead of I tolerate his behavior, you could say, I put up with his behavior. Here's your practice. You need to cancel a meeting. What phrasal verb could you use? You could say, I need to call off the meeting. Excellent. Using these naturally will make you sound instantly more fluent. Another key to advanced vocabulary is understanding collocations, words that frequently go together. For example, we say, make a mistake, not do a mistake. We say heavy traffic, not strong traffic. Using the correct collocations is a subtle sign that you have a deep familiarity with the language. Let's practice. I'll give you a word, and you tell me the common verb that goes with it. The word is an effort. Do we do an effort or make an effort? Yes, make an effort. Next, the word is a risk. Do we take a risk or do a risk? Correct, take a risk. One more, attention. Do we give attention or pay attention? We pay attention. Great. Focusing on these word partnerships will make your English sound much more polished. Let's also build your vocabulary for expressing opinions, because advanced conversations often involve sharing your perspective. Instead of always starting with, I think, you can use a variety of phrases. For example, as I see it, зрение, с моей точки зрения. Зрение или похоже мне что. To express a strong opinion, you could say, I'm convinced that. To express a softer opinion, you could say, I'm inclined to believe that. Here's your exercise. I'll ask a question, and you answer using one of these advanced phrases. The question is, what is the best way to stay healthy? You could answer, as I see it, a balanced diet is just as important as regular exercise. Now, create your own answer using a different phrase. Finally, let's put it all together in a short storytelling practice using our new advanced vocabulary. I'll tell a short story first. Last month, I decided to take on the challenge of running a 10K race. At first, the training was grueling, and I wanted to give up several times. But I stuck with it. And on race day, even though it was pouring rain, I managed to cross the finish line. I was exhausted, but absolutely over the moon. Did you notice the vocabulary like take on, grueling, give up, stuck with it, and the idiom over the moon? These words make the story more dynamic. Now it's your turn. Tell a short story about a challenge you faced. Try to include at least one phrasal verb, one strong adjective, and one idiom. Say it out loud now. By consciously working to upgrade your vocabulary in these key areas, your English will become more precise, expressive, and sophisticated. Now let's turn our attention to advanced writing. While speaking and listening are crucial, writing is where you can truly refine your command of the language. Advanced writing is clear, structured, and sophisticated. It's about moving beyond simple sentences to craft well-organized paragraphs that express complex ideas. One of the first skills to develop is expanding a simple idea into a full paragraph. An intermediate writer might state an idea like, exercise is good. An advanced writer develops this idea. Regular physical exercise is a cornerstone of a healthy lifestyle. Not only does it improve cardiovascular health and build muscle strength, but it also has profound benefits for mental well being, such as reducing stress and improving mood. Therefore, incorporating activities like jogging, swimming, or even brisk walking into one's daily routine is an essential investment in long term health. Do you see how the main idea is supported with details and a concluding thought? Here's your practice. Take the simple idea, reading is important, and try to expand it into a 3 sentence paragraph. You could say, reading is an important habit as it broadens our perspective on the world. It exposes us to new ideas, cultures, and experiences that we might not otherwise encounter. Ultimately, it is a powerful tool for personal growth and lifelong learning. Now create your own paragraph, either out loud or on paper. Another key skill is using linking words and transition phrases to ensure your writing flows smoothly. These words act as bridges between your ideas. Instead of a series of choppy sentences, you can create a logical argument. Words like furthermore, consequently, on the other hand, and in conclusion are essential. Let's practice. I'll give you 2 ideas, and you connect them with an appropriate linking word. The ideas are the company's profits increased. They decided to give employees a bonus. You could write, the company's profits increased. Consequently, they decided to give employees a bonus. Another one, studying abroad can be expensive. It is a life-changing experience. You could write, although studying abroad can be expensive, it is a life-changing experience. Now try connecting 2 of your own ideas with a transition word. Advanced writing also requires knowing when to use formal versus informal language. In an email to a friend, you might write, "Hey, can you send me the pics?" But in a formal email to a professor or a manager, you would write, "Dear Professor Smith, I was wondering if you would be able to send me the photographs from the event." Let's practice this. Imagine you need to ask for a deadline extension. The informal way might be, "I need more time for the project." The formal way would be, "I would like to request a brief extension for the project deadline." This ability to switch between registers is a sign of an advanced user. To build these skills, one of the best habits you can adopt is keeping a daily journal in English. Each day, write a short entry. Don't just list your activities. Explore your thoughts. For example, instead of, "I went to work," write, "Today at work was particularly challenging. I had to solve a complex problem that required a lot of focus, but I felt a real sense of accomplishment when I finally figured it out." This practice improves your writing, expands your vocabulary, and helps you become more comfortable expressing your inner world in English. Here's a writing prompt for you right now. Write 2 to 3 sentences on the topic, the benefits of technology. For example, you might write, "Technology has revolutionized the way we communicate, allowing for instant connection across the globe." Furthermore, it provides access to a vast amount of information, which has transformed education and research. However, it is crucial to use these tools mindfully. Now try writing your own short response. Finally, remember that advanced writing is about clarity above all else. Don't try to use complicated words just for the sake of it. The goal is to express your ideas as clearly and effectively as possible. A great way to check your writing is to read it out loud. This helps you catch awkward phrasing and errors you might miss otherwise. This also connects your writing practice to your speaking practice. By focusing on structure, flow, and clarity, you will develop the skills to write with confidence and precision, a true hallmark of an advanced English learner. Now let's move into real life conversation practice because this is where all your skills come together. Advanced conversations are dynamic and interactive. Let's begin with expressing opinions with nuance. Instead of just saying, I think, try phrases like, it seems to me that, or from my perspective. For example, if discussing social media, you could say, from my perspective, while social media is a great tool for connection, it also has its downsides regarding mental health. Here's your exercise. I'll give you a topic, and you express an opinion using an advanced phrase. The topic is working from home. You could say, it seems to me that working from home offers great flexibility, but it can also make it difficult to switch off from work. Now, state your own opinion out loud. Next, let's practice agreeing and disagreeing politely. To agree, instead of just, I agree, you could say, you've hit the nail on the head, or I couldn't agree with you more. To disagree, instead of, you're wrong, try, I see your point. But have you considered? Or, I'm not sure I see it the same way. For me, let's practice. Imagine I say, learning online is always better than in a classroom. You could disagree politely by saying, I see your point about the convenience, but I personally feel that in-person classes offer a better sense of community. Now create your own polite disagreement out loud. Another crucial skill is asking follow-up questions. This shows you are actively listening and keeps the conversation alive. If your friend says, I had a very busy day, don't just say, oh. Ask, oh, really? What kept you so busy? Or, I hope you get a chance to relax this evening. Let's practice. I'll make a statement, and you ask a follow-up question. The statement is, I'm thinking of learning a new language. What would you ask? You could ask, that sounds exciting. Which language are you considering? Now try your own question. Let's also practice using conversational fillers naturally. Words like, well, you know, I mean, and actually give you time to think and make you sound less robotic. For example, what did you think of the movie? Well, to be honest, I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but the acting was incredible. Here's your practice. I'll ask you a question, and you start your answer with a filler. The question is, what are your plans for your next holiday? You could answer, actually, I haven't made any firm plans yet, but I'm hoping to go to the mountains. Now try your own answer. Finally, let's role-play a mini debate. The topic is, are cities better places to live than the countryside? I'll start. I believe cities are better because they offer more job opportunities and cultural experiences. Now you respond, perhaps by politely disagreeing and presenting your own view. You might say, I can see why you'd say that, but from my perspective, the countryside offers a more peaceful and healthier lifestyle with a stronger sense of community. By practicing these conversational strategies, you move beyond simply exchanging information to truly connecting with others in English. Now let's focus on long-term study habits and motivation, because reaching an advanced level is a marathon, not a sprint. The secret is building a sustainable lifestyle of learning. One of the most powerful habits is to set small, achievable daily goals. Instead of a vague goal like, I want to be fluent, set a concrete goal for today. I will learn 5 new collocations and use them in a sentence. Or, I will have a 5-minute conversation with myself in English. These small wins build momentum and keep you going. Here's your first exercise. Choose one small specific English goal you can achieve tomorrow. Say it out loud. Tomorrow, my English goal is to. Making this declaration makes you more likely to follow through. Another crucial habit is regular spaced review. Our brains forget things over time. To move information from your short term to your long term memory, you need to revisit it at increasing intervals. If you learn a new idiom today, review it tomorrow, then in 3 days, then in a week, and then in a month. This is far more effective than cramming. Here's a review exercise. Think of one grammar rule you've struggled with in the past. Take 1 minute right now to explain that rule to yourself out loud. This act of retrieving and explaining solidifies your knowledge. The next habit is to find a balance between active and passive learning. Passive learning is exposure. Listening to a podcast while you drive or watching a movie. Active learning is focused effort. Doing grammar exercises, writing an essay, or having a conversation. You need both. A great strategy is to link them. For example, after passively watching an episode of a TV show, actively write a short summary of the plot or your opinion of it. Here's an exercise for this week. Choose one passive activity you enjoy, like listening to music, and add one active task to it, like learning the lyrics to one song and writing down what you think they mean. It's also vital to track your progress. The intermediate plateau can feel like you're not improving, but you are. You need to make your progress visible. One of the best ways to do this is to record yourself speaking. Once a month, record yourself answering the same question. For example, what have you been doing lately to improve your English? When you compare your recording from January to your recording from April, you will hear a dramatic difference in your fluency, vocabulary, and confidence. Here's your motivation exercise. After this video, take out your phone and record a 1-minute audio of yourself speaking about your goals. Save it and set a reminder to do it again in 1 month. This evidence of your own growth is the best motivation there is. Finally, you must stay connected to your why. Why did you start learning English? Why do you want to reach an advanced level? Is it for a better career? To travel the world? To connect with people from other cultures? To enjoy books and movies in their original form? Your reason is your fuel. When you feel unmotivated, reconnect with it. Here's a final reflection exercise. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself having achieved your goal. What are you doing with your advanced English? How does it feel? Hold on to that feeling. Write your why on a piece of paper and put it somewhere you can see it every day. This will keep you focused and driven on the days when learning feels hard. If you are still watching, I want to take a moment to sincerely congratulate you. You have just completed an intensive masterclass that many others would have given up on. Your dedication proves that you have the single most important quality needed to reach fluency: commitment. We have covered a tremendous amount of ground together. You came here looking for tips, but you are leaving with a complete system. You now have the blueprint for advanced English. You understand the mindset, you have the daily habits, and you know the specific techniques to master listening, speaking, writing, and more. But remember this final, crucial truth. An architect can have a perfect blueprint, but they still have to pick up the tools and build the house. The knowledge you've gained today is your blueprint. It is only potential power. The real power comes from action. So let's make your commitment real. I have one last challenge for you in the comments below. I want you to write, I am ready, and then share the one specific action you will take tomorrow morning to begin building your fluency. Will it be narrating your breakfast, shadowing a podcast for 5 minutes, writing one paragraph in your journal? Make your public commitment now. If this blueprint is the key you have been searching for, show your support by subscribing to English in Moments and pressing the bell icon so you never miss another step on your journey. Thank you for trusting me with your time and your ambition. Now, go and become the fluent, confident English speaker you were always meant to be. I will see you in the next lesson.